October 12th, 2019, 3:47 p.m. Mumbai, India. A 32-year-old woman is rushed into a burn unit. Her inner thighs and groin are blistered and oozing. It isn't fire, acid, or boiling water. It's a hair removal cream. Within minutes, her skin began to burn. Doctors diagnosed second-degree chemical burns. The culprit, thioglycolic acid, the same chemical marketed as painless. How could a routine beauty product end in a hospital ward? And why is no one talking about it?
These creams use strong chemicals to break down hair at the root. But they don't just target hair. They can irritate or even burn the skin, especially if you leave it on longer than recommended. You react to the chemicals, like calcium hydroxide or thioglycolic acid.
To understand the safety of a specific product, we need to understand the main active ingredients and their safety profile. Most of the hair removal creams on the market are based on thioglycolic acid and its salts. The main mechanism of action for thioglycolic acid and its salt is that it has the ability to break disulfide bonds in a specific protein that exists in your hair, which is keratin. When those disulfide bonds are broken, when you apply the thioglycolic acid salts formulation, the structure integrity of your hair gets compromised, and so a simple mechanical action can remove the hair.
When you pick up a hair removal cream, you see pastel tubes, promises of smooth, painless skin. But behind that facade is powerful chemistry. These creams use thioglycolates, a chemical that attacks the structure of hair. Hair is made of keratin, which is held together by strong bonds, disulfide bonds. The thioglycolates break those bonds, turning hair into a jelly that you can wipe away. The dark secret: your skin has similar bonds and structure. Your outer layer, the barrier that protects you from bacteria, water loss, and irritants, contains proteins and bonds that can be damaged if the chemical penetrates too deeply. To do its job, a depilatory cream also needs a high pH, alkaline environment. That's why many creams have caustic bases, to open the hair structure so the thioglycolate can work. So, the formula is a tug-of-war, strong enough to dissolve hair, but safe enough to claim minimal skin damage. That balance is extremely delicate. One misstep, one extra second, one thin spot of skin, and you risk burning. As these products evolved through the 20th century, brands leaned heavily into the narrative of convenience. No more painful waxing, no nicks from razors. Beauty marketing transformed a harsh chemical into a gentle solution. They hid the danger behind soft adjectives. Dermatologists tested, smoothing, soothing. But the science hasn't changed. It's chemistry. In this chapter, you've learned how these creams are supposed to work and why the margin for error is razor thin. Next, we'll look at real-world consequences. When formulas go wrong, doctors and dermatologists have documented dozens of incidents where hair removal creams caused chemical burns. Some patients ended up in emergency rooms, some had to stay in hospital, some were left with scarring or permanent damage. In one 2017 dermatology review, dozens of patients experienced burns, blistering, dark pigmentation, or allergic reactions after using depilatory creams. In many cases, people believed they followed instructions, yet the damage started anyway. Some burns appear delayed. A user might wipe off the cream, see no immediate reaction, and carry on. But hours later, the skin begins to bruise, blister, ooze, or peel. At that point, the damage is already internal. One striking case involved a teenager who used the cream immediately after waxing. Waxing had thinned her skin. The depilatory cream penetrated more deeply than expected and caused second-degree burns. Healing took weeks. Another danger is sensitization. After one bad reaction, your immune system may become hypersensitive to thioglycolate. That means even a small exposure could trigger swelling, itching, or burning forever after. You might think you're safe until your body says no. And for people with darker skin tones, burns often leave hyperpigmentation, dark patches that linger for months, years, sometimes permanently. What might be a light mark on fair skin could become a stubborn scar on deeper skin. If this chapter made you rethink what's sitting on your bathroom shelf, now's the time to act. Like, subscribe. Share this with someone who still believes painless means safe. It tells YouTube this matters, and it helps expose what the beauty industry doesn't want you to know. Now, let's talk about how they got away with it. How do products that cause severe burns remain so ubiquitous? The answer lies in marketing and weak regulation. First, the front of the product packaging will often say gentle, dermatologist tested, soothing. These are emotionally loaded words. They make you believe it's low risk, safe, and mild. Flip to the back and you'll see warnings in tiny print. Do not use on face, genitals, broken skin. Avoid extending the time, rinse immediately if stinging occurs. Hundreds of lines of disclaimers. If the product were truly safe, it wouldn't need such a long list of caveats. Cosmetics are largely self-regulated. Many brands conduct their own tests, submit their own safety data, and decide their own labels. There is no external body rigorously policing every cream on shelves. Complaints may lead to small fines or voluntary recalls, but rarely to sweeping reform. In 2016, consumer watchdogs challenged depilatory ads for exaggerating gentleness and downplaying burn risks. Regulators flagged these claims, but many brands continued the same campaigns. Why? Because lawsuits are expensive, regulation is weak, and profits from mass market beauty are enormous. The consequence? When users suffer burns, blame often lands on them. You misused it, exceeded time, used it on broken skin. Meanwhile, brands continue selling millions of tubes with glossy promises. This chapter reveals how risk is hidden, how disclaimers are weaponized, and how regulation fails the consumer. Next, we'll explore how to protect yourself and safer alternatives. Now that you understand the chemistry, the risks, and the industry cover-up, it's time to arm yourself with protection. First, always patch test. Choose a small area, inner arm or thigh, 24 to 48 hours before full use. If you feel tingling, stinging, or burning, don't proceed. Second, never use on sensitive zones. Face, underarms, bikini line, broken skin, freshly waxed areas, all are high risk. The skin is thinner and more vulnerable there. Third, follow timing exactly, to the second. Don't assume a little more time will make it smoother. It won't. It's more likely to burn. If at any point you feel unusual stinging or heat before the recommended endpoint, rinse immediately with cool water and stop. Fourth, never use expired cream. Chemical stability degrades over time. That tube sitting in your bathroom cabinet might be more acidic, more unstable, more dangerous. Fifth, don't layer creams over other treatments, acids, exfoliants, or damaged skin. Avoid using right after shaving, waxing, or exfoliation. The skin is compromised and more vulnerable. For many, the best path is to stop depending on chemical hair removal altogether. There are safer alternatives. Razors require care to avoid cuts, but no chemical damage. Waxing/sugaring, painful in the moment, but less chemical assault. Epilators, mechanical, no dissolving chemicals. Laser/IPL treatments, higher upfront cost, but long-term safer and less frequent harm. You deserve beauty routines that don't require medical attention. Once you've heard this full story, the sharp chemistry, the cases of injury, the industry lies, and the safer paths, you're no longer a passive consumer. You become aware, you become empowered. So when someone tells you it's safe, you now know how to ask. Show me the data, show me the regulations, show me the risks hidden behind the packaging. If this story shocked you, it should, but it's not the only hidden danger sitting in your beauty drawer. Our last expose revealed how expired makeup can become a literal biohazard, breeding bacteria, triggering infections, and damaging your skin long after its shelf life ends. That video is right here. Watch it next. Because beauty shouldn't hurt, and ignorance is how they keep selling you poison.